Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review, and next up is the Hasbro Power Rangers Lightning Collection Wave 6 In Space Yellow Ranger. I am very excited for this because this is our first Ranger from the In Space season. If you guys have not seen that season, I highly recommend going back and watching it on Netflix because it was very good. We had one entire storyline spanning the entire season. And yes, there were the one-off throwaway episodes, sure, but overall it was fantastic. I binged it with my son. He enjoyed it as well. So I'm very pleased to actually finally get one of the Rangers. We got the In-Space Psycho Rangers that originated in that show. They were also in Lost Galaxy and did some major damage, especially the Pink Psycho Ranger. But In Space is where it really started, so I'm very, very pleased to have this figure. So without further ado, let's get to it. Artwork looking awesome of the Yellow Ranger Ashley. Look as it wraps around the side there. On the back of the package, we have a look at the figure and her weapon and the effect piece. So that is really cool that we actually get her individual weapon. So I cannot wait. Let's open it up. Okay, so here is the Ashley In Space Yellow Ranger figure out of the package, and I am really, really liking it. We get her individual accessory. We get an awesome effect piece that isn't going to work with anything else, so it's cool that we get some of these things that work specifically for the Ranger figure that they have. As far as I can tell so far, she's not really missing any paint apps. This is an all-around solid release by Hasbro. But the unhelmeted head, there are some things we need to discuss. So let's zoom in now and take a look at that. Okay, so we start with a close-up of the Yellow Ranger, and this figure, I looked up more images just to make sure, and it looks to be like one of the few Rangers that we get that's not missing any kind of paint apps throughout. Now there are a couple of things like on the helmet, the big old black circle there. In the show, it was a little bit translucent and you could see some kind of, you know, electric board or some things under there. I don't know how they could have done that in figure form. I'm sure they just couldn't have. So that's not even a big deal. I'm gonna excuse it, no problem. Her Star Slinger weapon that she comes with is done pretty well. I don't think they really missed anything as far as the paint apps. I mean, maybe a silver line down the black handle or something could have done something, but really that's all they could have done. But it looks really, really good. I was scared that, you know, some of this might fall apart, so you want to be careful with it. We had a little bit of silver paint there in the yellow. This gray is just the cheap semi-translucent gray. Looks like we got a little bit of silver paint right there on kind of the barrels. That's where the kind of the blasts go. The handle's just done in black, but it's sculpted nicely, and we get that really cool effect piece that actually ports right onto it. So you're just going to plug it right on into those barrels, and it holds very nicely. Like when I first put it on, I put it on all loose, but you really have to push it down and it kind of clicks into place or snaps in there, so it holds perfectly. So that is really cool. I like that. But her individual weapon, I'm glad they did that, because, you know, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Who knows what the hell decisions they're making. But here is like the Team Blaster, whatever this is called. I didn't quite get the name of this one, but it's done nicely. The sculpt of it is very nice. We get a nice blue color. We get some gold in there, some silver paint, some red paint. And that looks really good. So I like that. Just a quick update when it comes to like the blasters. Zeo Red Ranger, his blaster, this shit, the paint just flakes off like crazy on this thing. It's really bad. Look at all that black paint already missing from the handle right there. White paint, look at that. It's already on my fingers. So paint is just coming off like crazy. It's done very cheaply on those ones. But this one, because there isn't a lot of paint, but that silver paint, it's done nicely. The gold is done nicely. We even get silver around the gold right there. The red is on there, and that's on both sides. I don't think we'll have issues with paint on this one. So great job by Hasbro on this figure, whereas the other figures, they seem to be really half-assing and going cheap. She comes with an additional pair of interchangeable hands, so we get this karate chop hand for her right, and then we get this fist for her left, because out of the package she has the two like open hands as it focuses. And then we have the unhelmeted Ashley head sculpt. So whoops, as it rolls around. So I think the head is good. It's better in person from the promo images that were released. However, mine isn't painted the best. So let me see how close I could zoom in so you guys can really look at it, because there's a little bit of an issue kind of giving it to where it just doesn't look right and almost has like a Joker looking face. So let's try and get in a little bit closer for that. Okay, so there is probably the closest that I'm going to be able to get into it. So the issue that I'm having on mine is kind of the paint and the print and how it's applied to her lips. It's just not done. It's done in a weird way, and it looks like some of the lips, some of the paint for the lips are kind of missing. So then her smile looks kind of weird. It comes off a little weird, but it is still better having it in hand versus what we saw in the promo images. So it's not a bad head sculpt, but it's also not all that great of a head sculpt, if that makes sense. The hair is sculpted nicely, but I don't really care for the color. You know, a little bit of highlights in it would have been better. It just something about it I don't really like. Maybe it feels a little bit darker. Looking back on it, I don't know. It was like a dirty blonde look, but just for whatever reason, how it comes off from this rubber, it just doesn't quite look right to me. But you guys let me know down in the comments below what you think of it. Again, the head sculpt I think is just okay, but it's just something in the print of around her mouth, the teeth and the lips, it just looks a little off. A real quick side view, you could just see the way her mouth and teeth look, just something just really weird about it. Ugh. Okay, so we're going to take a look at our articulation. What I want to show you real quick, it is basically the same body mold as the original Mighty Morphin Yellow Ranger, the same female body mold, but it would actually be more like the Pink Ranger because the pelvis, the lower torso part under the skirt, is actually a different piece than this one. So that's why the height is going to look a little bit different. So I guess a better comparison would be these two. I just wanted to kind of go with colors, yellow for yellow. But look at the helmet on the neck, sits much higher, so that is good. We actually get a neck on this one, so that is a great thing. Now let's take a look at her articulation. So she can look down like so. She can look up pretty good amount as well. In full rotation, of course, it feels a little wobbly on there, but not too bad. Some pivot, but not a whole lot. You can get the arm to go up pretty high. You get a full rotation, of course. Single jointed elbow, because this is a female figure, and Hasbro's like, nah, we don't do double jointed elbows on females. We get a slightly more than 90-degree bend. Their wrists swivel, and they have a hinge, which doesn't want to hinge at the particular moment, but they do have a hinge, and there is a butterfly joint, so you can get the arm to go back that far. How about we zoom in a little bit? You can get the arm to go back that far, and then going forward, you get a little bit. And I do want to point out, because I didn't point this out on the Zeo Red, seems like I don't point out a lot of stuff. There is no white paint on that butterfly joint. You see how it's just red above the gold? I didn't notice it, because to me, it's not that big of a deal, but a lot of you guys did not like that. So just wanted to point that out. So we do get white paint in that butterfly joint here. So again, not really missing paint. I have a little bit of gold paint chip there on the collar, but otherwise good paint apps. Pivot to the side that much, pivot to the other side that much. I'm trying to do it without the ab, and she can go back that far without that crunch. She doesn't really go forward much at all, but once you use that inverted ab crunch, you can get her to bend down that much. You can get her to go back quite far. There is no waist swivel, so you get that swivel at that diaphragm rocker. As you can see, legs go out that far apart. There are slits in the skirt piece there to allow the movement of the legs, so legs go out that far apart. She can't get forward that high, which is good. Goes back tiny amount, upper thigh cut, double jointed knee, like so. You have a boot swivel there at the boot. Foot hinges all the way down. Hinges up quite a bit, actually. Ankle pivot and peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So good articulation for an outstanding figure. I am very happy with this one. My last video, the Goldar, I probably ranted and was way negative on that video. But here, this one, I'm going to be super positive. It is a great figure all around. Okay, so the only in-space Power Rangers that I can actually do a side-by-side comparison with, because we don't have any, is the in-space yellow Psycho Rangers. Now, this comes from the 5-pack, the Amazon exclusive 5-pack in-space Psycho Rangers. I haven't even reviewed that yet because there's just been so many damn figures coming out. I will eventually do a review, I think. Let me know down in the comments below if you want to see a full review of that 5-pack. I will do it, but it's kind of late already now. You know, it released, you know, a full month ago basically. But if you guys want to see that, let me know down in the comments below and I'll get to it as soon as I can. Probably going to be in September because I just have so many figures kind of piling up to review. But as you can see, they look really good together, ready to kind of fight and kind of go about it. Now, one thing I was wondering was, could that effect piece work with the with the In Space Psycho Yellow Ranger's weapon, and it cannot, because it's a similar weapon, but it is not the same. So it's not like the effect piece would work, because we don't have anything for the effect piece to port into. So just a thought there. But I like how their weapons were all kind of similar to the In Space Rangers as well. It was a pretty nice little touch that they did. You know what though, how about this for a side-by-side comparison? Now, it wasn't Alpha 5 that was in space, it was Alpha 6, was it? I could be wrong, I don't really remember now. But I will mention that I really liked Alpha's voice in space a lot more than it was in Turbo. I absolutely hated the Alpha voice in Power Rangers Turbo. So in space, it used a different voice actor, or maybe it was the same voice actor, but using a different voice. So much better. And I think it had the lightning bolt was straight down as opposed to that curved lightning bolt. Maybe we'll eventually get another Alpha 6. I want to say it was 6, right? You guys let me know down in the comments below. I think that was it. And I don't think Zordon was shown, or they were on screen at the same time in space. Of course, in Turbo, she would have been... Actually, no, it wasn't Zordon, was it? Zordon had already left when the team changed, right? He showed up there for the passing of the power ceremony, I think. So never mind, this size comparison probably doesn't matter. But if we had Andros, then it would be perfect, because then we could see Andros destroying Zordon, saving the entire universe in his fight with Astronema. Hint, hint, Andros and Astronema. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Okay, so my final thoughts on this figure. I am I'm extremely pleased with this figure. I think Hasbro really knocked it out of the park. This is what we expect from Hasbro in their Power Rangers Lightning collection. Accurate paint apps, good accessories to where we get an awesome effect piece. Even if we didn't get the effect piece, how cool would that be? But we get her weapon, and it came out great. That's what we want from this line. Hasbro, give it to us in every single figure, please, because this one, you guys knocked it out of the park. For those of you guys that are collecting Power Rangers Lightning Collection, this is an absolute must pick up. In Space, please, if you haven't watched it, go binge it on Netflix. I promise you it was really good. If you loved Mighty Morphin when you were a kid growing up, try watching it again now and tell me what you think of it. Watch In Space, and I'm sure you will absolutely love that season, because it was done really well. So I can't wait to get more In Space Rangers. You know, a 2-pack of a certain 2 people would be awesome. The rest of the Rangers we really need. I can't wait to get them. For a first entry in Space, Hasbro did a great job. Even if this head sculpt is kind of weird, I mean, just double check the paint apps on the lips for yours. Mine was just a little bit off. But an all-around outstanding figure. You guys let me know down in the comments below your thoughts on this, your thoughts on the waves so far. This is the highlight. She is 1 per case. She will be the difficult one to find. Good luck out there, everybody. Stay safe. Like the video. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching.